passages. Bonjour à tous, bienvenue sur la chaîne des petits passages. Aujourd'hui, je vais vous présenter un projet de santé alternative, de santé holistique, qui va voir le jour très prochainement et qui illustre une des solutions qui composera le monde de demain, le nouveau monde, le Nôtre Monde dont je vous parle tant sur cette chaîne. Puisque vous savez que je ne fais pas que de juste vous dresser l'état des lieux du monde actuel, puisque beaucoup s'en chargent très bien sur Internet, mais j'essaie de vous proposer des solutions concrètes et on va voir aujourd'hui justement quelle serait une des solutions pour la santé, pour l'autonomie sanitaire. Donc je vous parle également souvent ici dans les vidéos. Donc je vais accueillir Christa et Fayez qui vont nous parler du projet. Alors ils vont parler en anglais, mais vous allez avoir les sous-titres qui vous permettront aisément de comprendre tout ce qui se dit. Fayez and Christa, good afternoon.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Hello, Jake. Thank you for having us. How are you, sir? How are you, Krista? Dr. Krista?
Fine.
Welcome to Les Petits Passages. And maybe Fayez, can you introduce you and the project?
Yes, so my name is Faiz Mukarram. I'm a citizen of this beautiful plane that we call Earth. And I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Whole Cure Limited, which is revolutionizing the health and wellness sector worldwide with our Whole Cure concept, which is really about preventive medicine and curing the whole of a person, which is the biological and spiritual part. And we do this through advanced technologies and ancient holistic wisdom. My partner is Dr. Krista Nachtigal, who's also a co-founder, and Mr. Victor also, amongst other people, mostly who are doctors and medics.
Great. Thank you. And Krista, can you say two words, two, three words to introduce you?
2 words, okay. Okay,
More than 2 words, sorry.
my name is Christa Nachtegaal. I live in the Netherlands. And since, well, exactly this year, 30 years, I've been a holistic health practitioner and a spiritual healer and teacher, working with individuals and also with groups. And it's been my passion and my dream to start holistic centers, not only here in Europe, but preferably all over the world. We'll talk about that later, but that's why I came up with the word Whole Cure. That's the name of the company. Like I said, the word whole means the entire person, to become whole instead of broken. But also the word whole comes from holistic, which is, we have 5 bodies, not just the physical that you can see and touch, but around the physical, there's etheric body. And then around that is the mental body, and then the emotional body and the spiritual body. So we actually have 5 bodies. So it's very important to treat and heal all of those bodies. And that's what we're doing with Whole Cure.
Great. It's just the opposite as the modern, in big brackets, medicine, who takes the body as a machine with spare parts. They don't see a human being, but they see a knee, they see a bowel, they see a head.
Yeah, it's like a robot. If you have a headache, it must be your head,
Yeah.
but
And
it's not like that.
if they don't know what you suffer from, it's psychological.
Yeah, unfortunately, Big Pharma, one of their missions and their business plans is to continue treating people, not to cure them, or else they lose customers. And based on their pseudoscience, they tend to use the idea of reductionism, where everything is separated in the body. And, you have a dermatologist, an oncologist, a gynecologist. They don't see the body as a whole, which is a big problem. Because end of the day, we are energy, and quantum physics has proved that 99% of our bodies is just empty space and atoms. Our mental capacity, our surroundings, our environment, these are all very important indicators of our health and should always be taken into consideration. I mean, if you have a happy wife, it's different than having a miserable life with a wife. If you're, standing in front of a 5G tower, or your house is full of moles, or you're eating the wrong foods, then these are all, different risks that you're putting on your health.
Exact. Yeah, it's a matter of surrounding also, not just the body itself, and the link between the mental and the body also. What the classical modern medicine doesn't do, it's either the mental, either the body, and just the exception is when they don't know what is the diagnosis, they say it's psychosomatic. It's just this, in this case, they admit there is a link with the mental and the
Yeah,
body.
they use the term idiopathic, which means we don't know.
Yeah.
So you have idiopathic headache, idiopathic inflammation. I was trained as a veterinary doctor. Went to university for 7 years in the Netherlands. And in 95, I already decided to switch. I switched from animals to people, and I switched from the conventional medicine to holistic. So it was also basically a call from my soul, like, okay, you're not in the right path. So I started with acupuncture, and from there a lot of training and courses, and of course experience. So because the conventional medicine, like you said, is only suppressing symptoms. Yeah, like I say, you have headache and you take a painkiller, but it doesn't solve your headache.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it gives, like Fayez said, there nobody wants to cure you because nobody earns money from healthy people, right? So
Yeah.
since over about 100 years, the let's call them the elite, has changed the way of health by really, suppressing everything, killing off everything that's worked. And so that's why we end up like, today. And we have more sick people and more diseases than ever. So it's clearly not working.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we really want our whole cure company to to go everywhere, basically.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
see ourselves as a company that should exist in every single village and city around the world, because what we're doing is common sense and logic and real science. And we need to remember that the belief is very important. And we have a nice scientist called Dr. Bruce Lipton. He has an important book called The Biology of Belief. And he proves what epigenetics is and how we can expose or address any situation we have through our belief and mental capacity to understand it. And to me, after the belief system, then common sense, like breathing good oxygen and good air, then drinking good water, then sleeping, then fasting, allowing your body to heal itself and for all the good cells to eat the bad cells, then eating organic, and then comes our habits and our hobbies. So when you have little children in school sitting in classrooms for 8 hours, instead of being outside in the sun, getting that CHO, or grounding themselves and touching the earth, or playing with nature and animals, and eating good food instead of that sugar and that sweets, and then having conversations and having good habits and hobbies instead of just sitting on that cartoon, then obviously your children will get sick. And evidence of all of this is America, which has one of the best or biggest medical systems in the world, big pharma. However, 1 in every 3 is obese. Half of the population are diabetic. The cancer rates are in the roof, in the millions. Cardiovascular, And one of the funny facts is that the third leading cause of death in the United States are errors that take place in hospitals from doctors. So we really need to address what's going on.
Yeah, that's the third cause of dying is medical mistakes. Did you know that, Jake?
No, I didn't know. I heard about the first is air we breathe. The second I don't exactly know, but and the third.
No, but I mean in diseases, it's like, you know, heart disease. It's like the first, and then cancer and diabetes, and then the third cause is medical failures.
Failure,
Yeah.
nosocomial infections. I think it's included in this, no? The nosocomial infections that you get in the hospital.
Yes, also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, about what you said just before, which is very interesting. Thank you for all those precious informations. I think a 5 years old child will say, but what you said, it's just normal, it's just common sense. Don't you think it's just basic? And we forgot this during maybe just 100 years. We are laughing about our grandparents, but they had only organic food. They didn't have to think about how to buy the food. And you mentioned big pharma, which is a big market, the pharmaceutical industry. But there is another industry, which is the agro industry, which is the one who makes us sick. And that's they go all together because the first makes us sick, and the other come and say, "Oh, we have the solution." And it's one of the manipulation technique to create a problem and to come with the solutions. And we see that every day in our lives if we open our eyes and we live those times, what people call revelations. We have more and more revelations about many topics, but I think we are not really opening our eyes to the right topics. But I think the real revelations is just what you said before. People must understand that our governments, elites, are not here for our benefit.
No.
And more people open their eyes. Thank the Corona circus, the COVID, because more and more people
Are waking up.
yeah, eyes open. Yes, wake up. Every day, other people wake up. In France, we have a lot of crazy things happening, and more people understand that no, now it's too much. It doesn't work anymore, and plop 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 plop.
Yeah.
And
Also, you're totally correct, Jake. And also that's also why we are here. Let's say, you know, the spiritual
exactly.
part.
Yes,
We really wanted to incarnate in this life, in this time. They call it time of the Great Awakening, and Aquarius age. And you see also more and more children, which we call like the indigo children and the crystalline children. And they have a really high vibration. And they, you know, they also, yeah, they, because they are here and we are here. Yeah, that's a big shift for the earth. So we're more and more waking up, like you're saying. Our consciousness is rising, and our vibrations are rising. And we get a lot of help from not only the sun, but from Mother Earth. All kinds of helps from, like, say, the unseen realms, you know, the masters, the angels, and there's lots of help. for us. But that also means that becoming more and more holistic and natural is not only like, okay, we hardly have a choice anymore. You know what I mean? Because of the energies are rising daily, if you don't listen to your body and follow the natural way, then you're gonna feel worse and worse. This is not like a fear-based theory, but you can see it all around you. You can see it, you know, the society, the medical world, everything is crumbling down at the moment. And that's only a good sign. You know what I mean? All the, all the, like we call the negative energy, or the more, yeah, the more darker energy is coming to light. It's coming to light for people to see, but also for us to transform. We can transform all these energies.
I think the more we dissect into it, and the more light we receive and give, the more we realize that the enemies are weak, and this darkness is coming out of a place of fear. And it's common sense today to understand that if you go to Yahoo Finance, you see big companies like BlackRock and Vanguard. Yeah, Vanguard and BlackRock own most of the companies around the world. So they own the insurance companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the hospitals, the education system. So they're giving you products that could poison you, and then they end up selling you medicine and making money off your insurance, and even selling you coffins. And these are real companies out there. You know, people like Bezos or Elon Musk, they own less than 15% of Tesla, or less than 17% of Amazon. So they own the rest of the companies. And it's only when you have strong people like Dr. Vandana Shiva, I think you've heard of her. She's an Indian scholar and an activist and an environmentalist, and one of my favorite people on planet Earth, who has several books, including one that's called Seeds, Not Oil, another one that's called The Oneness Against the 1%. Anyway, she's an activist that has taken Bill Gates and Monsanto to court hundreds of times, and she keeps on winning. And she's managed to awake the people of India into understanding what holistic means, what organic means, the effects of GMO and the poison chemicals and what it's doing, and how beautiful and abundant this earth is, and how we have an abundance of water and of food, including, you know, electricity and energy. And this is when you really grow up and you wake up in strength and power, and realize that only through collaboration and cooperation can we really take care of the mess that you know, we're facing with every day. Because we are here not to work in competition. The ideas of Charles Darwin were all about competition and survival of the fittest, which in reality weren't his ideas. It was all written by Alfred Wallace. But people like Suzanne Simmonds, who has a PhD in forestology and has worked with trees for more than 30 years, her and her father, through her science, we realized that the trees work in collaboration, and they help each other with water and nutrients in the roots. So we as humans are not here to fight with each other, nor to work in competition. We have to work in collaboration and learn from each other and enjoy this beautiful heaven that we're on. But one of my missions, as Dr. Krista's mission is on Earth, is to spread light and love, and mostly through the education and the health sector. Because if your dad has diarrhea today, he's not going to be able to, you know, enjoy his podcast or go to work. Or somebody's sick with a stomach ache, they're not going to be able to enjoy their children, or to perform, or to work, or to develop, or to transcend. So we need to be healthy, and knowledge is power, because it's all about the information, the trajectory we're on, what sort of mission are we on Earth. So these are important departments that we have to cover, and we are covering. And the idea of Whole Cure is to open around the world and enlighten people with information, and most importantly, give products and services where you can go to a garage, prevent sicknesses, and do maintenance for your colon, for mind, use hyperbaric oxygen chambers, which are all FDA approved, use ozone technology where we filter your blood, use sensory deprivation tanks that you can reset your sensors, clean your colon, use a Roy Rife machine where we can hit the cancer exactly on the frequency that it is, instead of shattering all the body. using holistic science for your teeth, because putting mercury and aluminium will cause biological issues. And then understanding what good salt is versus bad salt, what good oils are versus bad oils. And we're also doing things like direct energy to the houses, to the homes, and services such as home care, where nurses or operators or professionals will come to your home, assess your situation, and help you.
You said about fear just in the beginning of your intervention, last intervention, and it's one of the key words, I guess, in our situations right now, because people are under fear for everything, but it's not a fear that is clearly identified, because it's not an animal jumping on you. It's not something really visible. It's an invisible enemy. And that's what is it's a big trap, in fact. And I think people, and I try to help them in with this channel to go over their fear, identify them and go over and transmute them to love. Because if they are always under fear, they cannot go further to explore new ways of doing things. And with the health, in France, we have a big task to go over this fear, because they want to forbid colloidal silver. They want to forbid methylene blue, CDS, I don't know, etc., etc. And people have to go over those interdictions to see that maybe it's not. We are in a reversed world. When they say it's
Yeah.
bad for you, we may understand, oh, it's what is perfect for you, etc., etc.
Yeah. Can I address this fear, Jake? Because basically what it comes down to, what are people afraid of? That is to die. Yeah. That's their basic fear of death, which is in my opinion totally ridiculous, because we are infinite beings, and there is no death. So that's that is, we are a soul being that is infinite. When we end this life, is just, you take off your coat, your physical coat, and life goes on, but in other dimensions, in other vibrations. So there's nothing to fear. Basically, I already knew this as a child. I was very, awake and aware and conscious of everything. So I was always amazed of this crazy world, basically, and why people are afraid of everything. I was always thinking that there's nothing to fear, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree with you, but we have to think about that all the people who are listening to this interview are maybe not sharing this idea so far. Maybe they are in progress, but I discussed
But
with some people,
that's why I say it. That's
not
the light at the end of the tunnel.
yes, but it's not a problem for me, because I think when people have all those fears, I totally agree, and we are not alone to say that it's the end of dying.
Yeah,
But I think it's not always the physical death. It may be also uh, social death, because we have to put many masks in this society. We have
yeah,
the mask of the manager, the mask of the father, the mask of the son, the mask of the lover, etc., etc. And sometimes it's just the death of one of those figures that is
yeah.
involved.
The death
That's
of
what
the ego
I
mind. Yeah, the death of the ego
so,
mind.
and many people also say they are not really afraid to die itself, but to suffer. And I think it's interesting, because it's not exactly the same. And it's very paradoxal, because many people take cigarette, food, many things that they know it is poison because every day one newspaper, one TV channel, radio channel speak a little bit about one of those things. So they cannot say anymore, oh, I didn't know. But they prefer doing this and they know it's harmful for them and maybe they will die because of this. But in the same time, they will say, oh, I'm afraid to die.
Um, yeah, there is something important I want to say about fear. There's a study called kinesthetics, and they basically look at muscle movements and how they're influenced. When you're in fear, you have weak muscle. Okay? When you're in fear, you can be controlled, you can be intimidated, you can be bullied. And fear of COVID, fear of terrorists, fear of taxes, fear of rent. Okay? You are on a low vibration. And this vibration
of war, of war. Yeah.
vibration can be measured. We have an amazing scientist called Eileen Makusik. She does something called biofield tuning, where she's able to look at your chakras and look at the vibration and read it and find out what sort of trauma you had, how long ago, and what sort of trauma related is it. She's managed to do a mathematical network, and it's based on real science, and she's managed to replicate the results again and again, which is why she actually opened the school, and she's training people to understand what biofield tuning is. Remember, an MRI is a magnetic resonance imaging. So it's all magnetism, and vibrations are real and frequencies are real. So fear has been part of the elite's agenda because through fear, they can control us. They usually do something called problem, reaction, solution. So they create a problem, everybody reacts, then they say, solution, let's go to Iraq and destroy Saddam Hussein. I'll give you an example. Then we find out that, Saddam Hussein didn't have any weapons of mass destruction, nor did he have anything to do with the 9/11. That was just an example. So go back to the idea of life. Ian Stevenson is a scientist from Canada, and he has thousands of cases of reincarnation. Now, I don't want anyone to, take what I say as facts. They're allowed to do their own research. But I think quantum physics is explaining this connection and this reality that we're in. When we look at science, today's science, and they do experiments in CERN, like quantum entanglement, where they take a photon, a particle, and they divide it into two. And then when they're 8 miles apart, they change the rotation and charge of one of the particles. The other one gets influenced in exactly the same way in the same moment. That means there is this connection that science has proved. So if we're right and we're all connected, then we need to understand that this is definitely a holofractographic reality. And just as the ice destroyed the Titanic ship, that same ice, the H2O, on a different frequency becomes water. And that water on a different frequency becomes steam. Maybe you can look at yourself in that way, mind, body, and soul. And maybe this is a transmission that's taking place from an iCloud. Now, these are just, scientific ideas out there, which I tend to believe that are actually more closer to our reality. But the point of the story, we have found out that love is the direction we're all supposed to be on. Love has a higher frequency. Love has children. One of the children of love is joy, passion, excitement, satisfaction, hope, faith. All of these are part of the children of love. Instead of fear, instead of guilt, instead of hate. Okay. Again, the idea is to be at your best. And I've broken down the summary of this earth and the reality we're living in into 3 sentences. Self-love, which is very important for you to love yourself and maintain that high frequency of love. And that means a lot. Second, just before your ego hits, is do no harm. Do not hurt people. Do not hurt the animals. Do not hurt nature. And just before you just sit down and be lazy and literally do nothing, love thy neighbor. So self-love, do no harm, love thy neighbor. If you can practice these 3 things, I think the world would be a much better place.
Thank you, Fayaz. I try to speak about all this with my videos also. We are approaching the end of this interview, and finally, I would like to know if you can explain our people who are listening how you will bring all those projects to the public. How will it work?
So if you go to our website, wholecure.co.uk, we'll definitely put the link. You'll realize there's more information over there, including representatives for Whole Cure in different countries. And you realize that we are opening Whole Cure right now in a village called Ras Al Matin in Lebanon. in the city of Beirut in Lebanon, and in the city of London, England. And the reason why we chose Lebanon is because of the flexibility, the ease to do what we want over there. Most importantly, it's a dollarized economy with no such thing as free medical care. In terms of London, we're doing it because the market is very big. I live here. We have an amazing group of doctors here, and there's a big demand for what we're doing. So you can get involved by either buying preventive care or investing in the company. And hopefully we have other people from your area and from France also supporting us, because this is something that will definitely grow. And we've managed to also create like a real estate company behind it, where you're not only investing in machines and technologies that have an amazing ROI, return of investment too, but you were also investing in real estate that we are getting through great contacts from the government and through hedge funds that exist.
I would also like to mention the online services. If you go to our website, you'll see I'm doing a lot of online services, other people, and also the like Fayez mentioned, the Rife frequency machine. I can treat people remotely, so it doesn't matter where you are. Yeah, I can treat it by your DNA. So that's a little bit of your hair or fingernail clipping. Yeah, this is remarkable. We'll save that for another podcast.
Okay. So thank you, both of you, for all those information introducing your beautiful project, and maybe see you for the next topics we can speak about.
Oh yes, we could speak for hours.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yes.
having us, Brother Jake. Wishing
Thank
you
you.
and the family all the best. United
All
we
the
stand,
best to you.
love and light to everybody.
Voilà, chers auditeurs, merci de votre attention. On se retrouve très bientôt. Si cette vidéo vous a semblé pertinente, merci de la partager, de laisser des j'aime, des commentaires et de vous abonner à la chaîne. Prenez soin de vous, je vous aime.
Les petits passages.